got the transplant area set up. Let's see how horrible this thing sounds if it makes noise today. Ooh, ooh. Come on. Oh, she's not happy. It did not want to make it home the other day. Oh. Oh, she's not happy. It's too bad because the engine's in good shape. Oh. Yep, she is unhappy. Sneak our way around the donor. Alright. Yeah, I mean, the engine's perfect, but yeah, ye olde transmission is unhappy. So now we're going to push that in next to it and start ripping stuff apart. Alright, so that was held on by a total of 2 screws, a hope and a prayer. The impact bar looks like it's held together with some tape. The temperature sensor is not held on at all. Headlights are fairly firmly mounted, which is nice. So, washer bottle's good, but you see what I mean? Okay, there's some damage. Now we're starting to see a little damage here. Yeah, that front end's been replaced at some point. I don't think that's quite lining up correctly. But again, no big deal. No big deal. Don't care about most of that. So, everything else looks decent at the moment. Alright, carry on. Alright. Factory. Clown show. That's high quality right there. Yeah, that's impressive. That's some work right there. But yeah, that's good. But again, I didn't buy this car for that at all. So the headlights actually look to be in one piece-ish. Look how twisted this is. It's supposed to be flat. This here is just rolled up this way. That's why this thing doesn't work right. So, alright. Well, now I guess we're going to get some, those are 12s, see if we can knock this whole front bumper off. While I'm taking this one apart, I'm going to try to figure out what's the easiest way to do that. If that whole front end will come off like that, that'll be pleasant. So, alright, onward. Alright, well, we have exposed some debauchery, but really doesn't go much deeper than that wrinkled up crap on that frame rail, but that's not great because that's a strength member, so good on you. But a big round bar, that's part of the subframe, so that's good. We've exposed everything in the front, so that's free to come down. I think right now what I need to do is I believe I have to pull the air box because I got to get at the top of the transmission to disconnect a few plugs and stuff like that. And then I'm going to try to see what I can do with a wiring harness. See how much of that can go with the car, because I really don't want to go, if I can leave all of this stuff the way it is, that's kind of what I want to do. I think I'm going to have to take those top hoses off of the AC compressor. That's an $800 unit, because you can see it's got a big orange wire going to it, so it runs whether your engine shut off or not, which is kind of nice. I like that for sitting at stoplights and cruising on just battery for the mile or two that it'll get you. It never stops AC in the car. But the transmission cooler is disconnected and those lines are plugged. Didn't really lose much oil there. Antifreeze looks okay coming out of the pipes. There wasn't a lot in the radiator, so that bodes ill, but who knows, we'll find out. We will find out. Yeah, now we need to start clearing up this area here so we can get down into there, get the steering rack and the transmission shifter and some of these big wires disconnected, and figure out where we're going to stop this mess. So, alright, that's next. Alright, after about 4 hours, she's on the ground. And one exhaust stud break, but conveniently it's sticking out of the back of the manifold down there, so I should be able to get that out. If not, I can change the manifold. Ended up cutting off this sway bar end link, because that's all shot. That nut was not coming off, so that wasn't worth fighting with. I think the only other thing I did is when I dropped it down, I broke the dipstick top off. So, not bad. Not bad at all. But I did notice something after it got dropped down. Honda puts the VIN number on the engines. That VIN does not match this car. And that's salvage yard paint. Something 119 something. I looked it up. This transmission anyway, which means probably the whole thing, because it's never, it doesn't look like it's been apart, is out of a 2013, which is mine. So that's interesting. I found it a little rustier than I expected for a Georgia car. But who knows. Still came out all right. Steering shaft came out. Got everything unhooked. And so I think we're good to go. I'm still debating, especially now that I know this is a salvage engine, if I want to just swap the transmission. It's not that bad. You got to take a bunch of stuff off to do it, but you can actually do it without taking the engine out of the car, which is what I did last time. So I'm gonna have to think on that maybe tomorrow at work, see what I want to do, because that would be simpler than dropping the whole drivetrain out when that engine runs perfectly well, absolutely nothing wrong with it. And this one is kind of an unknown since I couldn't get it to start. It's probably good, because this thing does have IMA codes and it didn't show, well, PCM's offline. Yeah, so that's entertainment. Yeah, it doesn't really look like the starter bolts or the transmission bolts have ever been taken off of this one. So yeah, this is probably the unit out of a 2013 that somebody put into this thing at some point. Again, I bought it basically for the transmission. The rest of it's gravy, so not a big deal. I don't think it would have mattered. I probably would have bought it anyway. I saw a record of this thing having like 56,000 miles on it or something like that in 16 or something when it was offered for sale, so it might have been leased. Who knows? Whatever car that thing came out of. But yeah, that's interesting. Already been swapped once. Well, this engine is going to, or certainly this transmission, yeah, whew, I am sorely tempted at this point to just do the transmission. I really am. That would be a lot simpler than trying to break all the rest of this stuff loose under my car. But now that it's apart, and my crane over there that I got for $100 at the junk auction was super awesome, because it was able to lift the whole front end of the car up many feet, which is what I will do to get this out from under there. And yeah, so that's entertainment. Yeah, I think I am just going to do the transmission. Just because this is a bit more of an unknown than I like. I really don't want to swap this whole engine and then have this one be a dud. That would suck, since that one is mechanically perfect. The engine is phenomenal. It runs great, everything is clean, burns no oil, and I have never put a, let's say, Fram orange filter on it. So, alright, well, that's, I guess, the first part of this video. We'll be back, I guess, when I start popping that one apart, but I may clear a spot in the garage for that one, since taking the transmission out, you really don't need all this much room, and you don't have to lift the car 40 miles in the air. So that may be something we do tomorrow. Alright, we'll be back. Alright, so my $100 lift is putting in some work. Another junkyard purchase. If you care about your car, don't lift it from the core sport. Bad. But yeah, so we're going to slide that out from under there and get it over to the garage maybe, or maybe even here, because it's kind of shady at the moment. See if we can break that transmission loose. Alright, so that's out. Guess we can take a little better look at it. Really not terrible. A little bit leaky there. We may want to put an output seal on it while we have it out. This side looks okay. I may see if I can find one of those. Not too bad. So, Breaking the transmission loose from the engine is not terrible. I'm trying to remember exactly where it comes apart. I think these bolts here, several of them, and a few sensors to unplug at this point. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be too bad. Alright. So, yeah, we're going to figure out where we need to get this thing and go from there. Alright, so catching the oil didn't work. Get some oil dry on that in a little bit, but there is the transmission broken away from the engine. Not much to it. Can hear the parking pole working. See the shaft's turning. So, doesn't make any horrible noises. That's good. Alright, let's go get some oil dry. I don't think the engine's actually attached to the subframe. So I gotta lift that and put it somewhere, I guess. And we can get the subframe out of the way and go from there. I think I'm going to leave the steering hanging on my car. I don't think I'm going to take the steering down with the subframe. It says you need to, but I don't know. I don't think I have to. I don't think I did last time. I don't know whether it'd be easier. But both the axle shafts can come out before you break the transmission loose, so that's not terrible. You just got to undo the struts, so that's got to happen anyway. But yeah, there's nothing that supports that engine on the subframe. That's only supported from the transmission, the lower mount, and the upper mount over here. So it won't be too bad. Engine's a little rusty, definitely has sat, but it ain't bad. It's probably fine, but again, I know mine is finer because I have at least a 60,000 mile and almost 3-year history on it. Hey, look, there's the motor. Just look at the copper. I'll be damned. The motor is actually on the block. I hadn't noticed that last time. Very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Alright. Alright. Well, let's get this mess cleaned up, and I think we're ready to start stripping that one. Alright, well, as I expected, since this is a weird vehicle, these seals don't exist anywhere locally. So, I'm just going to clean everything up really good and slap her in, because that can be changed while it's in the car without too much difficulty. You got to pull that half shaft, but it's not that hard. That's not that big a deal. And it is seeping, I would say, a significant seep, but it didn't look like it was actively drooling. So the other side is pretty good. That one's available, but the weird one on the left is not. So, alright, well, let's see. Now I got to move that engine somewhere, get that subframe out of the way, and then get set up to attack this. Alright, we're getting there. Got pretty much everything out from the top. Flywheel's unbolted. Got to start pulling the trans bolts, and then we're going to go underneath. I think I'm going to attempt to leave the steering hanging from the car. There's only 2 bolts on each side in there that you need to undo. Got to unhook the sway bar links. Hopefully these come off easier than the ones on the junker. Gonna break loose the bolts down here, and that should allow me to drop the subframe without undoing anything else. Let's see what we end up having to do. But it's going good. No major issues. It's hot. But yeah, so far so good. And all that's disconnected. All this is loose. That should keep us from having to fiddle dork around with the steering and all of the plugs and realigning the steering after we're done and everything else. Transmission mount is out. Engine is supported with a block underneath it on a little jack. That'll probably fall off and break something later. But we're going to carry on. Alright, well, she's out. Put up a bit of a fight. I forgot that or didn't realize that the steering column is not attached. So if you do leave the steering rack in, you gotta hang it, otherwise it just falls out on the ground. So yeah, but it worked. Subframe's out, no issues. No issues. Everything looks good. So I think right now I am going to do my best to get the replacement transmission mounted tonight, and then we will finish this up tomorrow morning, because it was 95 degrees this afternoon and I had to take a break. It was getting a little bit much. But I think we're in pretty good shape. Everything else looks good. I still see my yellow paint from the last time I took this transmission out. And yeah, so we're gonna continue. Get this thing down off the jack, get that thing on the jack, and see what we can do. It does fit out of here. It's a little snug. Got to push the strut out, but she will make it. So we're gonna see if we can get that other piece of crap in there. Alright, I think everything electrical is finally plugged back in. Took a little bit of a fight. I had missed that the dowels stayed in the block on this one and stayed in the transmission on the other one, so I had to take it out and redo that so because the dowels don't go over themselves. But once we got that straightened out, it went in pretty good. Got all the flywheel or whatever bolts, starter, all the electrical, transcooler lines, PCM, whatever the hell that is, all these transmission plugs, everything's plugged in. So I think what I'm going to do now, as it's, oh man, it's only 6:30, feels later than that, it's been a long day. I think I'm going to put the battery in it just for temporary and see if I can get the windows to close. So it'll be sealed up for the night. I don't think I'm going to put the subframe in it tonight. I'm going to do that tomorrow. It is hanging by the engine and transmission mounts though, so should be good. See if the battery will let it put the windows up. Alright, so that's a bonus. Obviously didn't try to start it because we got no oil in the transmission. The big battery's turned off. So I think I'm going to throw the seats back inside, get them out of the weather, clean this up a little bit, and call it a night. We're getting close. Should have it by tomorrow. Alright, well, it's the next morning. Looks like everything survived. Whew. Today, first thing we got to do is get the subframe back in. Then we can get the suspension hooked back up, correct all my screw-ups with the steering, and see where we go from there. And another damn stud broke. These, I don't know what's going on. I am not cross-threading these things, but these damn lug nuts are seizing. I'm wondering if those are stainless and this is stainless. Because this is happening routinely. This is like the third one. I don't quite get it. Luckily I've got spares now. But, oh, geez, I'm glad I didn't turn it over. That would have sucked. So, I'm going to get the jacks out from under here, see if we can get the subframe in place. Go from there. I think it'll hold itself up because it's on all the mounts. And see where we go. Okay, so everything's back in except the battery. I have to figure out what kind of fluid is compatible with this stupid transmission, because that was one of my problems the last time. Is CVTF, I couldn't get it, and I ended up using Amsoil universal CVT fluid, which seemed to function, but I'd like to have the right stuff, or something that at least is supposed to be compatible with it. And so I'm going to go do a little research and see if I can figure out what ostensibly is supposed to go in these things, since Honda doesn't seem to make this fluid anymore. Alright, well, I think I finally did enough Googling to determine that CVTF is just a generic descriptor, and it just means CVT fluid. And Honda's latest CVT fluid is HCF2, which is what I got last time, but since it didn't say CVTF, I didn't use it. So, alright, well, I got enough of that. I think I'm going to drain this, since now I know that is correct. I think I'm going to drain what's left in this thing and just refill it and go from there. So, that's what we're going to do now. I think that's good to see. Not too much crud on the magnet, so that's nice. Get that drained, figure out what the refill is, and go from there. Alright, we got the battery in it. Let's turn that on. I should probably get the scan tool and scan it and erase all the codes, and then we're going to test it. Nice thing is the vast majority of idiot lights have gone out, so we haven't started it yet. But we're gonna do a little diagnosis here, see what we get. So far so good. None of the important stuff is showing any problems. IMA is good, PCM is good. See where, yep, and it's done. Okay. Check what we got. EBS, yeah, PCM because it was disconnected. Low voltage. Okay. Nothing major. We don't need to save that. Clear DTCs. Alright. There, go to sleep. There it goes. Alright, here goes nothing. And we got nothing. Alright, packing a few. I wonder if that's my problem. I'm only showing 8 volts on the battery. Let's go get the booster and see if that helps. Because right now I'm showing everything pretty good, but I lost communication with the ABS, and that's what's throwing a code. But yeah, that little 12 volt battery may not be. Alright, got the battery hooked up. ABS is talking again. 2 low voltage codes. We're going to try it again. All green. Oh, that's much happier. Hey! Yeah, that 12 volt battery, I guess, needs to have enough ass to allow everything else to talk. Or it's not happy, because this does not have an alternator. Sounds alright. Sounds alright. Let's see if the... Yeah, it's charging the battery now by itself. So that's good. That battery's probably getting a little weak. Alright. That was a little clunky, but here's the acid test. Feels good. Regens. Shuts off. Oh, it engages a lot better than the other one. The other one had about a 3 or 4 5-second delay when going into reverse. So that's a good sign, I think. I can back down the driveway without hitting anything. Engine heat up light is gone.
Please fasten driver's seatbelt.
Yeah. All right. Oh yeah, it doesn't grind the clutch. I'll bring it up here so I can blow out that upper area. Very good. I think we might have a winner. I'm going to blow that out, let it run for a little while, let it charge that battery on its own, put the windshield wipers and stuff, clean out under the seat, and we might be done for the moment. Alright, first official road test. I missed the steering wheel by a spline or two, which I knew I would. So we'll have to take that back apart and fix it. That's nothing. Running good. No stupid noises on regen like it was making. Doesn't crunch the clutches when it takes off from a stop like the old one used to. Seems real smooth. So far I am very happy with it. Fuel economy seems about the same. It's just a lot quieter. Transmission was making a lot of noise, and it was all bearings, I'm sure, just like the last one, the last bearing failures. That transmission When I got it, it had 223,000 miles on it, and from what I could tell, it had never had a transmission fluid change, and you're supposed to do it like every 30 to 40,000. So yeah, she had a hard life, but we got 282 out of it, or almost 282 out of it. Yeah, running on battery alone, charging. No, she's doing good. Everything's running. So maybe this evening, once it cools off again, I'll knock the wheel studs, broken studs out of that right front and swap them with some of the ones off the other car. And the other car had really good brake pads on it. Brake pads on this thing are getting pretty thin at almost 300,000 miles. I want to say they could be original. So I'm probably going to change the front brake pads to the other ones off that other car. The right front sway bar mount has gotten rid of my sway bar link has gotten rid of my clunking. Since I had to cut that one off the other car, that worked out. The new lower trans mount that I ordered was absolutely broken. I don't know what that's going to do, but I'm sure it wasn't good. Now it's better. It's not like this thing has a massive amount of torque, but better to not have a broken drivetrain mount. So, yeah, I think we're happy with it again. And then I got to start figuring out when I'm going to do the carpet. Carpet only goes back to the front of the back seats, so you just got to pull the bottom of the back seat out, the front seats, and maybe the center console, and get that done. Do that at some point, and then the window moldings and some other little things here and there. Poor windshield. I got another year before I need to worry about that, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah, that's going to be about it. This wasn't very descriptive because I've done it before. I'll link to those videos in the description and probably put some cards in if you're interested in how that transmission comes out. And I think that's going to do it for now. So, once again, hope you're all having a good day, and take care.